Alright guys, we should be live. Sorry if the audio isn't going to be the best. On my mic, my 9-volt battery died and I don't have a bunch of those handy. So, it kind of is what it is. Alright, so we're going to crack this bad boy. First things first, I guess. Let's, yeah, my sponsors were like, hey, we can't see, you can't read the website on the little flyer there. So, they printed me out a nice big one. So you guys should be able to see that, exchangecollectibles.com. Go check them out. Subscribe to their newsletter. They got some cool stuff coming out. Alright. Comic Books NYC. Nice to have you in the room, brother. Yeah, so hopefully you guys can hear me okay. So anyway, what we're going to want to do to crack these out, these older slabs are a little bit easier to work with. So you're just going to kind of take it and bend these corners until you hear that little crack. Okay, that's kind of what they call cracking it out. So you're going to do that. Then what you're going to need is a couple screwdrivers. And what you're going to do is I start with one that's about this size here. And there's a little spot right here that you can get a screwdriver into. So what you're going to do is get in there and then wedge and then turn. And I'm going to take my time with this because I actually want to kind of save the case. Okay. That little bit of a crack there. Come down here. I'll do the same thing. Come on. I'm going to try the small screwdriver. And the sucker is not untight. Come on, baby. Let's come back up to the top. Okay. Alright, once you get it started, you're going to kind of come down the side. Okay. Then you can come down the side with your longer screwdriver. And you can kind of just come down here like that. And we should be able to pop that bottom corner. Okay. A little bit more. Take this big one, slide it down. Okay. There we go. Now, I want to try and save this sticker and not just let it get ripped. So I'm going to try and get under there. Okay. All right. Now, maybe with just the one side, you can pry it open enough. I'm going to have to get this corner cracked a little bit better. Okay, I'm going to come down this back side a little bit. Okay. Alright, let's see if that's enough. Okay, there we go. See if we can get this bad boy out. Okay. There's a little shard in there too. Okay. I'm gonna kind of, I don't know if this is gonna work. Be trying to save as a souvenir, I guess. I don't know. Okay, so then, next thing after you crack the book, this label should be attached in there. Okay, and it is a little bit, because that's kind of what the scammers would do, is they would remove this and switch labels on books. So that corner right here is still attached, so that's good. That would be the one concern about, you know, if someone has messed with the CGC case at all. So this seems like it's in there pretty good. Okay. Then what we need to do is cut down either one of these sides to get the book out. And what I kind of like to do is I don't like to cut down the spine side, so I'll try and get the book to shift all the way so that it gives us as much room on this side to cut. Then what we're going to do is very gently, I'm going to cut, take your time, you don't want to cut the book. Cut it, I'm going to cut it like this. Okay. Now, you're going to want to probably cut the bottom a little bit to be able to open this up just slightly and be able to grab the book. So, this is really tight here. Okay, I'm going to cut here like this, I think. Okay, that should be enough. I'm going to go wash my hands really quick. I don't really like wearing gloves. I feel with gloves, I just don't have the dexterity that I would like with my bare hands. So, anyway, I just rather prefer wash my hands a couple times, make sure we're nice and clean, make sure we're nice and dried up, and then we'll come in here. Okay. Man, here we go. Let me just try and slide this bad boy right out. You know what? I'm going to cut the rest of the bottom. I want to be able to pull it down and out. And while we're at it, we'll just cut this top off too. Just so there's nothing hanging that could catch on that book. Okay. There we go. she is, guys. Now, let's see. Let's see if I can kind of show you what we got here. I don't know what the light looks like for you guys. It's really tough to... Okay, let's see. Somewhere's around in here, I think. So you can see we've got a few things that I think are going to press out. So, I don't know what this is right here. That could be a stain. If it's grease, we would probably see it come through the backside. So I don't think it's grease because we don't see anything on the backside. So possibly that can dry clean off. And the back, a little bit of dirt down here at the bottom. That might clean off. But I actually think the book is gonna press nicely. You know, I don't know if it'll bump a grade or not because we have some color touch that has to come off. And let's see if I can see that color touch, man. You know, like professional color touch is not easy to find. I don't know, there could be a little bit right there. It's tough to know. I'll take a bunch of pictures of this book. And then that way we can look at it when it comes back and we'll see where the color touch came off of. Okay, so. Oh man, let's read through this bad boy. I don't know. Let's see if I can get the camera a little bit closer. Let's see if I maybe do this. Try and get this camera a little bit closer. Okay, that isn't too bad, I don't think. All right. Another thing is like no marvel chipping, man. It's like that little tiny tear right there. Little, you know, corner bend there. Little bend here that breaks the color, but I mean, no marvel chipping. I mean, that is pretty amazing. Okay, I think we'll try and slide the book over a little bit, keep it centered. Maybe like there. I always like taking a look at these crazy ads from back in the day, you know? It's just wild sometimes. You know, I love the ones that talk about, hey, just tell us you want to sell stuff and we'll mail stuff to you. Don't send us any money, you know, things like that where you just know that nothing like that would ever fly today. Oh, a UV flashlight. Yeah, you know, I was thinking about like something like that, or maybe a black light or something. But I mean, it's gonna go to CGC. They're gonna remove all the color touch. Guys, you want me to just read this out loud, or should I just kind of maybe flip through the pages and just so everyone can look at it? What do we think? All right, so we'll just flip through it, guys. We'll take it nice and slow. Pages look really nice. What do they call these pages? Off-white pages? Yeah, you know what? I bet when this book comes back, It might get off-white to white because CGC is laxed on their page quality standards or whatnot. So little crease right here. I don't know if you guys can see it. Seems to go through all the interior pages, but I'm sure that it'll press out. So in another, hopefully within a month, maybe we'll have this book back. And we can see what the grade ends up being after the color touch is pulled off. Man, I mean, I'll tell you, the inside just looks really amazing. Colors are just super popping. I mean, the pages are just in absolute pristine condition. look at these ads, man. That's crazy. They're gonna make you a He-Man. There's the centerfold. Looks fantastic. I mean, there's no rust. Staples are, centerfold is great. Now, I mean, this book has a slight miswrap. I don't know if they'll try and fix that or not. I don't even know if it's worth messing with because, the book has been, I guess, kind of slightly rolled or miswrapped like that its whole life, probably. So I don't even know if it's worth messing with. Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, there's been times I've heard that there was books that were signed on the inside and CGC missed it. So they're definitely not checking every book, every page. I mean, I imagine on the older stuff they probably are at least flipping through the pages, but on modern stuff, dude, I bet that there's times where they just scan the thing and that's it. Probably maybe check the centerfold just to see if the centerfold's popped or there's rust on the staples or something like that. Yeah, there she is, guys. Really, just the inside is just really nice. I would really love if this thing could just bump up a little. But see how the staples are kind of back here? So it really feels like, it would be nice to roll that spine over, but I don't even know if it's worth messing with because, you know, uh, that spine has been there so long, and it's I don't think it's worth messing with, to tell you the truth. It probably would look better just keeping it the way it is rather than trying to pull this over and line that up. Just because you probably expose so much more wear on that edge that, you know what, I don't think it's worth trying to play with that. Yeah, man. The when it's professional color touch, usually it'll come off without too much problem. And I'm sure it's on the spine. That's usually where it is. It could be in this neck of the woods. Um, there's a darker spot here, but I think that they all have that. Maybe right through this one here. Like I see a little spine stress, and it seems to disappear when it hits that one. It could be in there. But lots of things that I think are just going to flatten out beautifully with the press, and depending on what happens with the color touch, you know, it'd be sweet if, you know, it could stay the same grade, and it would just be amazing if it could jump to maybe like a 5.5 or something. So there she is, guys. We will see in a couple months. No, it won't be a couple months. Maybe 1 month. So my next CGC submission, this book is going in it, of course, and we will see what happens, man. I've got high hopes for it. A little bit of a, fingerprint there. I don't know if this is a fingerprint. It could be a fingerprint. Yeah, it's gotta go in a bag in the board. But I'll probably stick it in a top loader too, just to be safe. And you gotta be careful when it comes to restoration removal. Um, because this one was professional, I felt confident to crack it out. But say if this book was amateur color touch, then I would not crack it out. I would send it in the case, and then CGC will crack it out, and then they'll evaluate it for you. If they say, hey, the color touch can't come out, they'll put it back in the case, and you don't have to pay to regrade it. Um, Steve, so we don't know what the value is going to be. If it can stay a 5.0, it's probably something like around a $40,000 book, something like that, 35, 40,000. If it can bump to a 5.5, that might push it closer to 50,000, and a 6 goes up to like 60,000. I don't think it'll go higher than that, but you never know. I mean, I've been shocked before. I've sent one of my buddy's books in that was, like a Sergeant Fury and his Howling Commandos, and I was looking at it, I was like, this is probably going to be a 4.5. Got it pressed and sent it to CGC, and they gave it a 6.5. So I don't think this book will get a 6.5. I mean, I wish, if it did. Oh boy, that's like a $80,000 book. But anyway, I wish it was all mine, but I've got partners in it, and I wish I could keep it, but like I said in the other video yesterday, the timing just isn't right for me to have a big book like this. Any other questions, guys? All right then. We'll keep it short and sweet tonight. And I hope you guys enjoyed flipping through this bad boy as much as I did. And we'll see you in finish this series out when we get it back from CGC. hopefully in about a month or something like that. And I'll take a bunch of pictures of it so that we can see exactly where all of the color touch was. And we'll see, I don't know if they can dry clean any of that, stain right there out. But, I'll mention it to them. And we will see what happens, man. I'm super excited. This is a beautiful copy. Especially, I mean, man, there's like no Marvel chipping, no pre-Marvel chipping. That is just so hard to find in a mid-grade copy. Usually you got to be up to like a 7.5 or something before you're gonna have edges that are that clean. Hey, H-Town Comics, nice to have you in the chat. We're kind of at the end. Definitely go back and catch it on the rewind. We flipped through the entire book. Um, and now the next step for this bad boy is off to CGC to get the color touch removed. And we'll get it pressed and dry cleaned and all that good stuff. And we'll see what's going to happen. So I think that's it for tonight, guys. Thanks for joining me on this Friday night, and Sunday we're going to go live again. I've got some stuff to unbox. It's more modern stuff, but it's all fun and games, right? So please be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, and that way hit the notification bell so that when this thing comes back from CGC, we can unbox it together and figure out what the final grade is going to be.